You are now listening to HopeChangers podcast.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, babe. We're back. We are back. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen, however, whoever listened to it while we have been gone? We are happy to be back with you guys. This is the Hope Changers podcast. I am your loving and newly rejuvenated, resteamed. I said resteamed. Oh my gosh, rejuvenated, revigored, restored, loving guest Sheldon and my lovely. I'm just all over the place. Okay, I am the host. Yes, I am the host, and my wife India is here as well. Say hi, babe. We are back and ready to tackle the tough topics of 2020. Y'all have no reason to not listen to us now. We're all in the house. We're all in the house now. So guess what? You gotta listen to us. You gotta listen to us now. Now I'm just messing with you. We hope everyone is doing well throughout this whole entire craziness that is going on. Things have been shut down. It's been particularly tough for me, but it's been a blessing also. It's no sports, it's no concerts, it's no nothing. Nothing's happening. We just watching people in their houses. That's just about it. It's been very different, but we do know the Lord is being glorified in this whole entire ordeal. Um, you want to tell people the good news, babe?
I don't really know what you're talking about.
We moved.
Oh.
Yes, we are residents of Atlanta now. So we are excited and happy to be. I am happy to be here. I am happy to be in the states of GA. But yeah, we moved in the midst of all of this. We moved. The Lord has moved us to Atlanta for the next mission, for the next frontier that we are on, and we're excited about it. But enough talking about me. We don't have much going on. We still the same old, same old. We're gonna get to the topic that we have tonight.
We do have much going on. We're in a new place. We're in a new state. We are having a new child. And
Yes.
we have some. Well, we've had business things going already, but that it's a continuation of our business things. So we have much going on, and the Lord is doing all that He's doing with us.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So we are definitely moving right along, and we're just hoping that you guys will go along with us for the ride. This is going to be different. We're not going to go away for a long period of time again unless the Lord has us to do something different. We will be back with new episodes each and every week. This is episode 19, but it feels like it's episode 1 again.
Not to me.
Why not?
I don't know. It just feels like a continuation. It doesn't really feel like starting all over again. Because when we started, we were in California when we first started.
Oh, yep,
and we came a long way. We really have. Not just in our moving and everything else, but we've came a long way in our relationship. Our kids are older now, a little bit older.
Right.
We've come a long way in our spiritual walk. It doesn't feel like the beginning again.
Right. That's true. So, what is the topic, babe? What are you?
today or to this evening will be just talking about um, something that we were listening to off of YouTube. It was like a conversation between single folk, men and women. So it was like 3 men, 3 women, and it was a conversation that they had. And my husband and I were watching the video. It was maybe like a 15, 20-minute video. And they were back to back. Almost like a blind dating, but they weren't dating. They were just, they didn't see each other, but they were asking each other questions and just responding to it. But anyway, we watched this video. It was interesting, but there were certain things that we wanted to address regarding the video. So this podcast really will just be about, I guess, like relationship and church mentorship. Just mentorship in the body of Christ, period.
Right, it's so needed.
Yeah, it is. It's very needed. And we were just hearing some of the things that the guys in the video, hearing some of the things that they asked them and how the women responded. And one of the women you could tell that she needed a little more spiritual maturity, because the way she was responding, it was like, okay, there needs to be some type of mentorship going on whatever church she resides at. There needs to be some type of mentorship. And then we just got to thinking, my husband and I got to thinking, how come there isn't any mentorship?
Right, yeah.
There should be mentorship in the church. I think it's First Timothy calls older women to mentor the younger women, and the men to do the same with the younger men. So I don't understand why we don't see that nowadays. And I was just telling Sheldon earlier, it could be because we don't really, people nowadays inside of the church don't really follow the word specifically like we should be following. And so when we go to church and we see each other, old or young, we're just like, yeah, God bless you, sister. God bless you, brother. And then that's just it. It's right. Nothing, and people may ask, hey, how you doing? What's going on? But it's no like keeping up with one another. Yeah. And then this is why young people leave the church or go astray or whatever, because the older people, and it's not every church, it's not every Christian, but the older people are not grabbing them by the hand and like, hey, let me help you, let me disciple you, or let me keep up with what's going on in your life. Mm-hmm. And it should be that. So, are you looking up the scripture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's what I was just telling him earlier today. And I'm sorry if I sound out of breath. I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm not really doing nothing but sitting here, but I'm out of breath. Yeah, so it's an issue. It is an issue. And this is why church younger women, one, are not ready for marriage when they come to finding a spouse. And two, this is why a lot of young women, and I mean young meaning like 20 somethings or even younger, why they're leaving the church and don't feel the need to stay there. Like if you're young and you're like, hey, I want to leave my church, there's nothing really going on there, and it's not to move to a different one, you just want to leave it because you don't feel the need to be there, that's the issue. And then, you listening to all of the secular songs and stuff like that, it's just a slow down slope of coming away from Christ. And this is why men and women, older men and women, should take the younger men and women by the hand and be serious about it, about their walk. So that too. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Um, and then also one thing that we wanted to address regarding that video. Now these were three old, and they were in the age. These three people. It was six altogether. 3 men, 3 women, and they were in the age of 30s. I think the youngest was like what, 30 or 28 or something.
The youngest was 27.
Okay, yeah. So, and the other three were like 30. I think the oldest one was what, 37 or something, 38. Yeah. So anywho, they were in the age bracket of 30. So they weren't too young, but they got on a question of what if you get married and you and your spouse are not sexually compatible? And my husband and I had to like pause it because they're believers. This is a Christian thing that's going on. And my husband and I had to pause the video like, wait, huh? What one, what is being sexual compatible? And two, why is it that, and a lot of people may not agree with me, but why is it that believers are talking about this?
Yeah.
Sexually compatible? Like if you find your spouse, and the father, the father allows you to find a spouse, doesn't matter if you're sexually compatible or not. Is not the father going to allow you guys to please each other? Like, and I really had to ask myself, what is sexual compatibility? You're a man, you're a man and she's a woman. What more compatible do you need to be? I don't understand. You have two different parts, two separate parts that fit together. What is the compatibility part? So anyway, they explained it and they were just like, it's just about the pleasing part in the bedroom. Okay, understandable. But if you get married and for whatever reason, y'all have different wants or needs, you work it out. That's not a cause for, oh, I'm upset, we're not sexually no, listen, talk it out, work it out, have dates, talk to each other, plan whatever, do what you got to do. But that's not a make or break thing. And my husband made a really good point. He was saying that just talking about that amongst single believers is sin. And I believe so too, because this sexual compatibility stuff comes from the world. Now, if you're already married and you're trying to, come together with your spouse and you just like, hey, I don't like this, I do like that, whatever. Okay, that's not sin. You're already married. The marriage bed is undefiled. It's honorable, in the Lord. But if you're single and you're like, hey, what if we're not sexually compatible? Because the question was, will you be upset if you get married to your spouse and y'all are not sexually compatible? So that was the question. Mm-hmm. And some people answered it like, yeah, I'd be upset. And, one of the people, it was the only man out the group, or he wasn't the only man, but he was the only one that was answering wisely. He was just like, listen, we're going to be compatible. That's just that. Right. Because what stops you from being compatible? You get yourselves together, you talk about it, talk it out, whatever, experiment, and do what you got to do. So we were just kind of like amazed or thrown off by the question when we heard it, because it is sin. It is, I believe it is sin. And I really don't think that that's a popular belief, but it doesn't matter. It's still sin, because now one, in your singleness, you're thinking about, oh man, what if my husband or this person I'm dating is not going to please me? Or what if it's not fun or whatever? But if you get married and you pray about everything, you allow the Lord to fit y'all together, even before you get married, because the Lord knows what you like and what you want. But if you get married and you allow the Lord to do everything, and you talk it out with your spouse, I believe everything will be well. And some people may have stories like, well, me and my husband wasn't compatible at first, but you get compatible, you become compatible if you're not. I never even, before I got married, I don't even know if I've necessarily thought about the sexual compatibility thing. It was just like, what? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, the that well, let me backtrack. Because when we were talking about uh mentorship in the church, it comes from Titus. He said
Oh, I did say Timothy.
First
Yeah, I meant
Timothy is
Titus.
actually Titus chapter 2, verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. That is something that I don't see a lot in churches.
At all, hardly.
I don't see a lot of that at churches at all. Kind of like the older women kind of just let the younger women do whatever they want, because a lot of them think that it's no reaching them, or if they feel like a younger woman or a younger person in general is just too far gone, they'll just leave them alone. And I don't think that should happen at all. But getting to this thing about sexual promiscuity, it is sin. I'm sorry. Compatibility. It's sin. It is sin, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the concept of sexual compatibility is not about who fits. It's really about, as my wife says, about who's gonna pleasure me in the way that I want to be pleasured. Now, where does that concept come from? That comes from porn. The sexual compatibility thing is about who can satisfy me sexually in the way that I want to be satisfied. That whole concept is from pornography. That's the reason why growing up, not to be explicit, but growing up, a lot of young women in high school and even community college and stuff like that, when I went to computer school, a lot of them had, like, when you talk to them about sex, a lot of them had the exact size of the exact size of man that they wanted. And if you know what I mean when I say size, they knew exactly what they want. I need the man to be this big and this long. And when I was in my early 20s, I'm saying like, well, I gotta figure out how to get there. If that's what they want. I gotta figure out how to get this. But the Lord has renewed my mind and to see, and He's shown me that's sin, because that comes from a perverted mindset.
Very much so. Yep.
That's a very perverted mindset. It's a valid question. I'll give him that. It is a valid question, but it comes from a perverted mindset. I'm not calling the person who made the question perverted. I'm not calling those who answered it perverted. I'm saying that the concept of compatibility comes from a perverted distortion of what sex and how the Father created it to be. The Lord created men just right for women, and He created women to be just right for men. And there is no such thing. There is no such thing. The problem is that you've made, how can I say it? You've made sex an idol. So it has to measure up to what you think is supposed to be in your mind. That's why the topic of compatibility comes in. And some of the women was, and even one of the guys said, I've definitely had that issue. And I'm thinking, how did you have that issue? I, listen, sex is not rocket science. I'm soon to have 3 kids. It's not rocket science. It does what it's supposed to do. The concept, the point of sex is reproduction. What did the Lord say to Adam and Eve? Be fruitful and multiply. He didn't make it. He did not make it trigonometry in the bed. It's very simple. So for me, there is no such thing as compatibility sexually. And if someone doesn't know what they're doing, they'll figure it out because it's not hard. So that question is a little off for me.
And it's not that when you get married, it has to be just humdrum and boring. The Father has created also for pleasure and really to um emulate our intimate relationship with him. If you get that spiritually far in your walk with the Lord, and you have great intimacy with the Father, there's levels that you can go to in your walk with him and in your marriage bed with your spouse
Talk about it.
that will compare to your relationship with him. If I can take it that far, if people can try to understand what try to understand that far, because some people are like, oh, it's I don't know, some people may be like, oh, it's going to emulate my walk with. No, the Father has his reasons for creating intimacy, and not just for natural pleasure. Like if you read the Song of Solomon, a lot of pastors say, oh, it's a really sexual book. I don't know if I agree totally.
It's not it's not
Yeah.
it's an explicit, if you want to call anything in the Bible explicit, book. It is a explicit in a sense, but it's not sexual.
Yeah.
And it's not only talking about sex. It's giving really a very detailed, very bare look at how detailed the Father is and how he loves us and looks
Right.
at us
Yeah.
as the apple of his eye. And he
Yeah.
describes it in such a way,
Yeah, such a deep way.
in such a deep way.
Yeah.
And it is, for biblically speaking, it is kind of explicit, but I've read the Song of Solomon so many times, I've never got a sexual connotation from it.
Yeah.
I never, but I got some great lines that I can use on my wife that I haven't used yet, but it's not a book like that. So don't be afraid of the Song of Solomon. If someone give me opportunity to preach, I will preach from the Song of Solomon. Definitely. And I got a sermon for it too.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was just I don't think that needs to be a topic in the marriage bed. Sexual compatibility, you will be compatible. The Lord.
not in a marriage bed. You mean like among single believers?
Oh, all right. Yeah. That definitely should not be a conversation among single believers, because we don't. Because this is another thing. You don't know who's struggling with what.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody up there could be struggling. Now, 2 of the guys said that they were virgins. Praise the Lord. The other one, predictably, said that he wasn't. But I've been a virgin and struggled with pornography. So being a virgin don't really mean anything. The enemy can still get to you. He can still get to you in a way that will he knows what buttons to push. So that doesn't really mean anything. It's good. I'm just saying that the enemy can get to you. And when it comes to that, but you don't know who's struggling with anything. You don't know what type of seeds you can sow that Satan can now use to possibly get someone to fall. We don't know. So I think that question was a little bit distasteful.
Now you said being a virgin doesn't mean anything. It means a lot. It's good that when people Just in case there's anybody listening who is one, they like, wait, don't mean nothing.
No, no, no.
No,
I
it's a
mean
good
that
thing.
being a virgin is a good thing. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. What I'm saying, it doesn't mean anything in the context of the enemy doesn't necessarily need you to be having sex to
to
make
yeah, reel
you
you in,
to
yeah,
reel you in with a sexual bait.
yeah,
So you could still be sexually immoral and never known a woman
or man, yeah,
or a man.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I
So
don't want nobody to be like, listen, I'm going
yes,
out
stay a
there.
virgin, please. Stay a virgin. There's enough sexual immorality going on in the world.
Yes,
Stay a virgin. If you are
till
pure,
marriage,
stay
yeah.
pure until marriage. It will feel the same. Trust me. It will feel the same. But yeah, the whole but the entire thing was good, and the point of us getting back to a mentorship, I think is really needed. And for us, I got to use us as an example because we didn't get great mentorship leading into marriage. We didn't. We did not get great mentorship leading into marriage. And that was primarily because the people who mentored us didn't really think we should have been getting married anyway. So they didn't really, they kind of just was going through the motions. And we knew that. We knew that. People didn't really prepare us for marriage. Maybe we weren't as prepared as we thought we were looking back on it. But nobody really prepared us for marriage. Like, and I'm not talking about preparing for marriage when you're about to get married. I'm talking about preparing you for marriage, when you get old enough to start having thoughts about the opposite sex. That's where I think the mentorship should be
Yeah,
starting.
yeah,
Not when I may ask this girl to marry me. Now you're gonna give me the whole spiel about how tough marriage is. Tell me how tough it is, and prepare me for it when I'm when when when
when you're a
when
teenager.
you're a teenager, 14, 15. Not talking to them about marriage per se, but teaching them as men what we need to know as men, to be a leader and to carry out our duties as a leader and as a man for a household.
And I think that teenagers should be talked about, should be talked to marriage, talked about to marriage. You get what I'm trying to say. I
Yes,
think that they should be. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I do think that they should be because if you don't, I feel like it gives them a choice in their mind. Should I stay single? Should I get married? I'm not saying force them into marriage, but talk to them. Hey, you're a man. You'll probably be married one day, unless they have a gift of singleness or something that the father has given to them. There's some people out there who grow up and don't get married, and they're perfectly fine with that. They're not struggling like, oh, I want to find my spot. They are fine with being by themselves, and that's okay.
Right.
But the majority will get married and want to get married and have that desire. So I do think that um, teenagers should be talked to about that.
Yeah.
Because then it'll prepare them early on, and they're not trying to struggle with them thoughts in their mind. Like, man, I like girls. I want to, get married one day. And even if that thought of marriage is not in their mind, it'll get put in there by an older person, father, pop, I don't know, somebody in the church that'll help veer their minds the right way. Because if they see that they're having these feelings and they're growing up and they want to be married, you never know. If there's no direction that anybody is pointing them to, they'll go any way their mind is going to take them. Hey, I like a girl. What do I do from then? But if those things are already being put in their mind, they're like, okay, I know what to do with these thoughts. I'll prepare to be a husband, pray about it. Lord willing, one day I will be one, and they'll start early on. Hey, this is how you be a leader. This is how you be a man. Let me help you. Let me show you. This is what you don't do. This is what you don't look for in a woman. This is what you do. It'll help guide their thoughts. Because teenager age is more than enough. I don't want to say too late, but I really think it should start at maybe like 12, teaching not just about marriage, but just everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Just to help guide their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do think that I do think that um starting early, which we are going to do with our kids, starting early with them to prepare them for those times, Lord willing. I mean, who knows in this day and time with all that's going on now, but if the Lord tarries long enough, then that's what we're going to do with teaching our children early. I'm going to teach my son or sons about manhood as best as I can. My wife is going to teach our daughter about womanhood as best as she can, and starting early so that they will have a leg up in maturity, preparing for learning to um live and be with another person. Now, ultimately, as I've had this conversation with a cousin of mine, and I told him, and I do believe this. Some people may believe otherwise, but I do believe this, that nothing really gets you prepared for marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing really gets you prepared for. I know people have said it before. I've heard it even when going through the process towards getting married. Nothing really gets you prepared for marriage. I don't know why people actually say that, but I think that the only thing that prepares you for marriage is the experience of going through marriage. But you can prepare for in your tutelage to a young man, preparing them how to deal with things as a man, how to lead as a man, and vice versa with a woman, how to learning biblical submission as a woman, and knowing how you are supposed to, knowing what it is to be a helpmeet to a man would help tremendously. It would help tremendously in that area, and preparing them for him then would man, it would be awesome. Yes, you'll still go through issues. Yes, you'll still go through your trials, but it won't be as bad if you know how to do the everyday things, I'll say. So if you get into marriage and you're still struggling on what it is to be a man, it's gonna make it a whole lot tougher. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it's gonna make it a whole lot tougher, because now you're wrestling with who you are as a man, and you have to lead, and you probably never knew how to. So you gotta grow up now, even though you may be an adult. It's something called extended childhood. I was reading that in Eric Mason's book, Manhood Restored, about how men sometimes be in this state of extended childhood, where they don't necessarily grow up. They have men's body, but they still have minds of a boy. And I think women also have it too. Extended childhood and womanhood. They don't know how to be a helpmeet. They don't know how to do the things that are necessary, that a man may be leaning on a woman for in that area. So to help it's much needed. It's much needed, and I think the church has not necessarily done well by a lot of the young singles. We can't afford, especially in this day and time, we can't afford to be left on our own anymore.
Yeah, you can't. You really can't.
We really can't. We cannot afford to be left on our own anymore. It's crazy out here, and every wind of doctrine is everywhere.
Yep.
And someone's gonna, and whatever they're not getting from the church, they're gonna get from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we have to be it's vital for us as the body of Christ to teach this thing right. We have to. You had anything?
Um, I did, but it slipped my mind, honestly, because you were talking about mentorship and stuff. I had something, but it slipped my mind.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it'll come back to
Yeah.
us. It'll come back to you. But yeah, it's better mentorship.
Yeah.
Better mentorship, and it starts at home. It
Yeah.
starts at home. A lot of these people growing up are growing up out of broken homes, and that's something that I want to break with our family. That generational curse of broken homes, and the son's got to figure it out by watching something on the television.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that I do believe that there is some sort of preparation for marriage. And I say that in regards to your walk with Christ, because I'm not going to say that I was prepared for marriage, but I do believe that the Father groomed me as much as he did, and really as much as I allowed him to, before I got married. And yes, Sheldon is right. Like, I don't think anything really fully prepares you for things that will go on in marriage, but the Father can prepare you for marriage. Now, things happen in marriage. You learn through marriage. Those situations that you won't know about, yes, those will come as a surprise or whatever. But as far as you being prepared, I think that you can, in a way, be prepared. In a way, like I said, you will learn, but in a way, yes, you can be prepared through prayer, through seeking the Lord, through just your walk with Him, through reading the Word and allowing Him to grow you as a man or woman through the Word. Whether you have a mentor or not, or an older person or not, if you seek the Lord, get in the Word and get into prayer, the Father will help you to be that wife or that husband that you are supposed to be. Are you going to be perfect? No. Are you going to know everything to do? No, you're not. But He will prepare you as much as possible to, to start you off. And then, of course, as you get into the marriage, you'll learn and grow and go through different things that will shape you and prune you. But yes, you can be prepared in a way. And that also leads me real quick, because I wanted to mention something that also happened in that video that these couples were talking about. And they weren't dating each other, but I just call them couples because it was 3-on-3. But anyway, something else that these people brought up, and the guys asked the girls, what, why aren't you married yet? Or something like that. And one of the girls was like, well, the Lord hasn't brought my spouse yet. And the guys kind of like started like, here we go with that answer again. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with that answer? Because, they were just trying to, through the guys responding like that, excuse me, they were just saying like, well, why haven't you went out to find him? And the girl was like, well, I'm just kind of fasting and praying right now and seeing which direction I should go in. And they were acting as if there was something wrong with her response, which it wasn't at all. Because I'm like, in this time, and I know that this is not popular. Hopefully people don't turn it off. Like, I ain't listen to this no more. But in this day and time, women are not taught to seek the Lord first for your spouse. Women, I do not believe, are chasers. Can you put yourself out there and, let others know in a social setting, yes, I'm single. Yes, I am interested in looking for a spouse. Yes, you can do that. Yes, go ahead and, I'm not saying if somebody hey, be like, hey, you're pretty. Can I get your number? No, no, you don't have to do that. But what I'm saying is, if you're a female, and I'm just speaking from a female's perspective because I am one, if you're a female and you're looking to get married, there is nothing wrong, and I think you should, rather than, go looking on your own. I think that you should wait for the Lord. Seek Him first. Prepare to be a wife through prayer and reading of the Word and your relationship with the Father. Prepare to be a wife and let the Father bring this person to you. Does that mean you can't date? No, you can. But just going out there and looking and dating different people and getting your heart broke or whatever, or wasting time, should you do that? No. And the Father has taught me years ago, way before I got married, He's given me this revelation. He wants us women to seek Him, and men too. But I believe that the women are not chasers, and the men go out there and look, and the women wait for the man to come. So I didn't see anything wrong with her answer, and it was kind of saddening or a little irritating that these men who are supposed to be protectors over the woman thought that she should be out there looking, because this is why we waste time in relationships. This is why we get our heart broke, because we're out there searching and looking and dating everybody, or like, okay, let me try this person. Let me try that person. Lord, is this person it? If you're seeking the Father and you're like, hey, Lord, this person came to me, I'm giving him to you, and you wind up dating that person, he winds up not being your spouse. Okay, you sought the Lord about it. I don't know, maybe you just were a little hasty. I don't know, because the Father is going to steer you right. But us women, and going out and looking for a man and dating around or whatever, I do think that if we're not seeking the Lord and we're just going around dating, that's a problem. I think our number one thing should be, Father, I want to get married. Prepare me to be a wife. Let me use this time in my singleness to be a wife, to be a mother. If you bless me with children, help prepare me, and not just, oh Lord, let me find this man, this is what I want, this is what, you could tell the Father what you like, and He knows already, but you could tell him what you like, what you want. But I think that time should primarily be for you searching the Lord, and the Lord is going to bring the right person to you. He really is. Like I said, doesn't mean you can't date. It doesn't mean you can't go out in social settings and accept someone's number if the Lord is leading you to, hey, try this person, but yes, He's okay to begin dating or whatever. Doesn't mean you can't, but seek the Father so that you'll know what direction to go, and it'll keep you from heartache, heartbreak, wasted time, stuff like that. And I'm just speaking this for the women primarily. Yes, men, seek the Lord for your wife so you don't get into trouble with crazy women.
Yes. Yes, Lord, yes.
but I'm, primarily talking about the women to just take this time. If you're single, take that time to prepare to be a wife. Because if you're not preparing to be a wife, you're looking around trying to look for who your man is, and then when you get married, you have no clue as to what marriage should be or what type of wife or mother you should be. Mm-hmm. And then things are worse in your marriage than they could have been because you didn't seek the Father before you and prepared yourself before you got married. And then you got these notions in your mind of how you think marriage should be and should turn out, and that's not it at all.
That is very true. And personally, I'm glad that particular female said what she said, because she was probably the most immature out of all of them.
Who?
I'm not gonna say her name.
I know you're not gonna say her name. You talking about in the video?
Yeah, in the video.
Oh.
She was like the most immature one.
That was a good answer.
It was.
She said she was seeking the Lord.
It was. So I agree in that sense, because she was, a lot of her answers overall in the 3-part series, she was a lot of very immature answers, which said she needed some mentorship. But um, but when she said that, the guy should have been paying attention and should have applauded that. One, because she is waiting to be found, but and two, because she still need a lot of work. And to try to marry her right then and there, or try someone trying to get with her at that point in time, that would have been a bad look to me. To me. But all that you were saying, babe, it is so true. But here's the problem. The problem is that in today's society, because it's so backwards, women have now assumed the role of being the boss lady and everything and independent, and I'm every woman, everything. And guys are now thinking like these three gentlemen who kind of like, threw their arms up in disgust when she said, I'm waiting for the Lord. I'm waiting for the Lord. Or that's what she said, right? I'm waiting for the Lord.
Yeah, to send her spouse.
Yeah, to send her spouse. Yeah. They asked that question because unfortunately there aren't any women that's waiting. They're going out and trying to find it themselves. So for the guys who are the ones that are looking for wives, as a proverb says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. The wives, the women are not trying to be found anymore. So the guys is like, well, if you're not waiting to be found, then I don't need to go looking. So now you should come to me. And that's what I think one of them said. Like, why don't you go and find them?
Right, yeah.
So we can't necessarily blame the guys. The backward society that we're in has caused this discrepancy. Yeah. But women still go back to the I guess default setting that the Lord has put in them. Wait to be found. So when you ask, they'll be like, I want somebody to find me. That's the way it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, society told you, don't wait to be found. Be found, girl. Go do what you need to do. Go find him. You don't need to wait on no man. And us men, not me, of course, but men is like, well, hey, shoot, you make it easier for me. I don't need to go look for you. So when they run into one and be like, I'm waiting for the Lord to send my spouse, they like, oh, you crazy. You better go out there and try to find one, because these guys ain't coming around here looking for you. So that unfortunately is the problem, that the society that we're in has made it acceptable for women to go and look, to go and do everything else so they can't be found. Meanwhile, and guys who are supposed to look or have decided to stop looking. That's the world that we're in right now, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad. I told my cousin, I said, I'm glad I'm not dating in this day and age. Do you know what you gotta go through today? Do you know the type of, just speaking from a guy's perspective, you know the type of women that's out here calling themselves savages? I'm ratchet and classy. I gotta deal with a schizo when I meet you. It's crazy, and I rebuke that song too. That song is horrible. I rebuke that song in the name of Jesus. It's making y'all females schizophrenic. You ratchet, classy, sassy, whatever the heck she said, everything. No, the Lord called you to be better. He called you to have a sound mind. He did not call you to be all these things that don't produce a godly woman. So I rebuke that song and rebuke the queen that's on it. And we gonna leave that there. But yeah, it's I told my cousin that I'm really glad I'm married, because dating in this day and age would be so hard. It would be so hard because the roles are so jacked up. No one knows who they supposed to be. Yet they want you to be who they want. Yet people want you to be who they want you to be, but they don't want you to be it to the fullest extent. Women want men to be men, but they don't want them to fully be men because then they have to submit. Men don't want women. Men want women to be so submissive to the point that they don't even have a voice. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know why I'm on this, but it's crazy. It is crazy out here. I'm not trying to preach. I'm just it's just messed up. It's just very, very messed up. And I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't, and we can wrap it up. Thank y'all so much for listening. Hope Changers podcast is
We are back, baby. We are back.
It's back in effect. Praise the Lord for it.
It's been a long time. Shouldn't left
All
you.
right now. All
Without
right
a strong
now.
line. Step 2.
All right
Step
now.
2.
Okay,
Step 2.
all
Okay.
right.
Okay. All right. I'm not switching.
But yes, we are back, and if you have any topics or any questions, comments that you want,
hit us up on our Hope Changers page. Instagram at HopeChangers _. Follow us, and we will start updating our page. Now that we got things back in order, we can start really getting Hope Changers in gear. Yes, yeah. You will see more of us.
So it's at HopeChangers _. If you have any questions or comments or topics that you want us to talk about, even anything. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank y'all so much for listening. We hope and pray that this has blessed someone, anyone, everybody. And we just want to continue to speak blessing over y'all, pray for y'all, especially in this corona situation. Excuse me. And if anybody has any prayer requests for us, just send us a DM to our Instagram or our email if you happen to not have Instagram. Some people don't. What's our email, babe?
info@hopechangers.org.
It's not .org.
Okay, we don't know, but just send us a DM on
Babe, we have
Instagram.
an email.
I don't remember it right now.
I'm sorry about that. So unprofessional. But we will leave our email on our Instagram page, and next time we do a podcast, which will be next week, we will give you our email address. But we each have a Facebook if you wanted to drop any prayer requests. Mine is Mrs. Janae Washington, and Sheldon is Sheldon J. Washington. So you can always go to our personal Facebook pages, and drop a DM or whatever personal situations you may be dealing with that you want us to pray with you about. Yep. Thank y'all again. We love y'all, and we are praying for everyone. All right.